Our next guest, Coach Phil, reacts. And Phil, before I go any further, I don't know you from Adam, but I like what you stand for. I like the cut of your jib. I like what you're doing. But I would like you to introduce yourself to our audience, if you don't. What's your deal, Phil? What is your deal?
I'm just a crazy brother that loves football. That's all it is, man.
You should put that on your Twitter bio, which you do have, by the way, as aspiring teacher, football coach by day, YouTube reactor, and single dad by night. But it just seems like, because I've been following you, we follow friends of each other, personal, what do you call it, mutual friends. But you kind of been taking this Canadian Football League by storm this summer. What brought that about, and how did it happen?
It just happened overnight. I was actually doing the videos about a year ago, and then I did one video that just kind of took off, and it's just been a crazy summer. It's been the summer of Coach Phil, man. I couldn't ask for anything more, and I love it. But I'm just enjoying the ride, and hopefully I'm doing something to where I can uplift the game and let people down in the States know that there is another league out there, and they're pretty doggone good at what they do.
Well, is that the video that I just saw that kicked it all off? You basically said, hey, you NFL lifers and that troll the CFL, don't sleep on it. Is that what I just saw? Like, explain that.
Yeah. So there was two videos that I did. One was where, and not disrespectfully, I did it as nicely as I could, was I did a video called Work With Us CFL, and that just took off, where I was just saying, hey, we out here, we trying to, us content creators, more so for everybody else than myself. We're out here. We're trying to what's the word? We're trying to boost the league up and let everybody know the league is out here, but you guys really don't want to work with us. And then it just kind of took off. And then the one that I posted on Twitter, where I was like, to all the NFL lifers and all that, I meant what I said with that. I stand on what I said with that. I really believed everything I said in that, and it just took off from there.
Well, here's what I see about you, and I'm not just kissing your butt. Again, I got mutual friends that if they vouch for you, I'll vouch for you because they're good people. But you know your stuff. You're a good guy, and you're cool. That's pretty good trifecta right there. But the thing that I don't understand, I hate the phrase perception's reality, because perception's not reality. Reality's reality. And I've got tired of defending the CFL to people, particularly in Canada, because, Phil, as you know, and by the way, you're from Washington State. Is that where you're at?
Yeah, born and raised. My hometown's Renton, Washington.
Okay. I just get people that down here in Florida, they have more respect for the CFL than a lot of Canadians do because they know the game of football. I'm over explaining how good it is. If somebody wants to pick up the torch and that's you, then have fun with it. Because are you finding that you're making a difference?
I hope I am. I mean, I've had a lot of people reach out to me and just say thank you, and thank you for sharing our league and all that. And when I went to Regina and even to Winnipeg, the love was just crazy because I didn't realize the reach of how far my videos got to people. I got teenagers walking to me saying, want to take pictures. I've got adults. I've got older people want to take pictures with me. And I'm just like, yo, I'm just a regular guy from Washington, a football coach and a dad, and work in the educational field. So I didn't know that it reached that far. And I'm just glad that I'm able to do it for everybody, you know?
Well, you got, as Larry Dean said to me, you got a good energy, and people see that. James in Borden, Manitoba says, I've been watching Coach Phil since the start of the season. Love his videos, but it's too bad he's a Rider fan. Is that a fact? You got a fan, a favorite team?
Yeah, I do. I unapologetically root for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So there's so much like the Seahawks back home, and I respect the history. I respect the culture, love the guys. That's my team. Now, here's the biggest thing that people don't realize is I'm a fan of football. I love football, and I root for everybody. I want to see everybody win. Now, that's not realistic where there's got to be one champion at the end of the day, but I want to see everybody be successful. So, but the team that I do root for is the Roughriders.
Fair. Hey, we all got to have a team, as I always say, and as long as you're cheering for somebody. Janice Owen writes in, she says, finally on RP. She's talking about you, and you know who that is. They're rolling the ticker across. He's particularly popular with the women, I'm noticing. Haley writes in and says, Coach Phil is my favorite. From Susan, I love Phil. He's a beautiful, fun-loving guy. Thanks for having him on. From Leanne, she says, Coach Phil will have a forever membership with Rider Nation. If you don't mind answering a quick question, John from Edmonton says, Phil, what should the NFL do to prevent season-ending injuries or week-to-week injuries? Let's just say that to football overall. Do you have a quick answer to that?
Quick answer would be, I'd say, we can sit there and say, oh, go back to grass, but at the end of the day, there's injuries that happen in football. They're freak accidents. Is really changing the grass going to do anything? I don't know. But we'll have to just see about that. But that's my view of it. Man, injuries happen.
Well, what's interesting about that is I've heard from therapists in football, athletic therapists that have pumped grass and have pumped turf. Hello. You can hear me anyways. I don't know if you can see me. There we go. I've heard both sides of the argument, so I don't know what the answer is. Phil, who is... Okay, we all know Toronto's the best team in the CFL right now. Who's number 2?
Honestly, I'd say the second best team, right? You have to say it's either Winnipeg or BC. Easily.
Is Chad Kelly the runaway most outstanding player, the quarterback for Toronto?
Yes. Easily, without question. I mean, he's been the most consistent. I'll say this. I know Blue Bomber fans are going to be upset to hear this, but Zach has had some games where he struggled, and I know he's the reigning back-to-back M.O.P., but Chad has been the most consistent, and I'm big on consistency. Chad has had games where he's had his back against the wall, and he stood tall. He's made it happen. The numbers aren't, like, out of this world, but there's been a lot of guys that have won the most outstanding player, even NFL MVP, that didn't have the most staunch numbers, and they won it. So Chad's going to win it, I think, at the end of the day.
Well, it's just unfortunate because it's not even an argument. Toronto's the best team. Chad Kelly's the best player, and they got him signed up long term. So aside, if we don't say Toronto and Chad Kelly, who's the next big thing at quarterback in the Canadian Football League? Because it appears we're going through a changing of the guard at that position.
Trey Ford and Jake.
Yeah?
Those are the guys who got. Yeah, Trey. I'm a big Trey guy, man. Trey's going to change things if he stays the course and Chris Jones doesn't get in his way, then Trey's got a chance to be something special. And same thing with Jake. I love what Jake is doing. Jake's had a couple games where you're like, oh my goodness, where's he been? But just consistency, and we're going to see over time what happens.
Dude, who misses the playoffs in the CFL West? You've been around long enough to realize how this goes down. Looks like only 3 are going to make it. So who misses?
Ooh, depends on the division. We're talking East or West.
In the West, only the top 3 are going to make it. So somebody's got to miss out of Calgary, Edmonton, and Sask. 2 of those 3 teams got to miss. Is that too tough one to predict right now?
No, I think Calgary's going to miss it. I think Calgary has been so. Yeah, Calgary's it's all over the place with what they the season didn't really start off well because they lost Kadeem Carey early on, but that's a big part of your offense. But there's just too much inconsistency with them.
Gotcha. Phil, I love it. Maybe we can do it again in the playoffs. I appreciate that, and thanks for all the great things you're doing for the CFL and for the great people that follow it.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me anytime.
That was quick and fun with Coach Phil Reacts.